Hi, my name is Lana. Welcome back to my channel. I bought books. It's been a while since I've done a book haul because I haven't been reading much and therefore I haven't been buying books. In my life, those two things go together. When I stop reading, I stop buying books. The more I read, the more I buy, and I started reading again. I'm gonna start with the ones I've already read or I'm currently reading. Right now I'm filming a vlog for the Shakespeare Readathon, the All the World's a Page. I will link the hosts in the description below. I am very excited about this readathon. I need to calm down a little. For this readathon specifically, I bought 4 books. 2 of them are Shakespeare plays and 2 are retellings. The 2 plays that I bought are Macbeth and Julius Caesar. This is a reread. Macbeth I'm reading for the first time, even though I've seen many productions, but I've never read it. Well, I have now. I just finished this one and I loved it. And I cannot wait to reread Julius Caesar. This play is very important to me for many reasons, and I just can't wait to revisit it during this readathon. And the 2 retellings that I bought are part of the Shakespeare Hogarth series, and it's Macbeth by Hugh Nesbo and Hackseed by Margaret Atwood. I've already finished this one and I really did not like it, but I'm very glad that I read, and this is the first Hugh Nesbo that I've ever consumed. Will I ever reach out for more? Probably not, but I'm glad I did this. And I am currently reading Hackseed by Margaret Atwood. This is the retelling of The Tempest. Should I have said that this is a retelling of Macbeth? It's called Macbeth. I think that's obvious. And back to Hackseed. Hackseed is one I've been interested in a long time, and I'm so glad I finally get to read it. I really liked The Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood, which is a kind of a retelling of the Odyssey, and I loved her writing style in that one. That was the only other Margaret Atwood that I've ever read, and I was very curious how she would handle The Tempest and would go about retelling it, and so far it's so good. Then I have The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the 4th and last book in the Raven cycle. I've so far read 2 out of 4 books of the Raven cycle. I do have the 3rd one ready to go. It's not necessarily hard to find these books. Well, actually, yes, it is hard to find them. So when I spotted this book with a 70% off price, I knew I had to get it because I'm very interested in the series. I already am halfway through the series, so it was a no-brainer. I grabbed it, very happy to have it. Then I have a book I bought secondhand. I saw someone selling it for very cheap, and it's a book I've been interested in for a long time. Is The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. I haven't heard much about this book, but I've seen it around a lot. I really liked the let me take off this dust jacket. This is what it looks like. It's a tiny paperback with a very small font and is around 800 pages long. I just love the cover. This book has always intrigued me just by the way it looks. It looks like a book that I would really enjoy. And let me tell you what it's about. Propelled by the discovery of an ancient book and a cache of yellow letters, a young woman plunges into a labyrinth where the secrets of her family's past connect to an inconceivable evil, the dark reign of Vlad the Impaler, and a time-defying pact that may have kept his awful work alive through the ages. The search for the truth becomes an adventure of monumental proportions, taking us from monasteries and dusty libraries to the capitals of Eastern Europe in a feat of storytelling so rich, so exciting, so suspenseful that it has enthralled readers around the world. And someone said, Kostova blends fact and fantasy to remind us that the original Dracula legend is rooted in monstrous acts and unblinking evil. For some reason, there's a part of me that thinks that this has, like, not magical realism in it. There's some fantasy in it, or maybe it doesn't. I don't even remember. I've added this book to my TBR so long ago, and it's been so long since I've actually read the synopsis and looked at reviews and all of that, so I don't actually remember all the details. The fact that it mentions libraries and ancient books and monasteries, it's just it sounds like the kind of dark academia that I'm a big fan of. Then I bought a book by one of my favorite authors. I've talked about Ken Follett a lot on this channel. I love his Pillars of the Earth series, and the latest book in that series, Column of Fire, was probably my favorite of his books ever. And in 2020, the prequel to the series came out, and it's called The Evening and the Morning, and it's another brick of a book by Ken Follett. And this book is set in 1997 CE at the end of the Dark Ages. So the king's grip of the country is fragile and chaos reigns. A young boat builder dreams of a better future after a devastating Viking raid shatters the life he hoped for. So if you're not familiar with the Pillars of the Earth series, each book in that series is in a different era. I don't remember when the Pillars of the Earth is set. I think it's the 13th century or the 14th century. Oh, I don't remember these things, but it's somewhere there. And then the next book is The End of the World. It's been a long time, okay? Which is either 1 century after or 2 centuries after. The third book, The Column of Fire, is set in the 15th century, and this being the prequel goes way back into Vikings and that part of history that I don't know much about, and I'm very excited to see what it's like. I love the way he writes history. I love the way he writes characters especially, and it's even though all his books are ginormous, they're so easy to read. And I just I remember starting The Column of Fire, and it was another brick of a book, and I was a little worried that it's such a big book. I need to start this big book, and it will probably take me a while to get into it. And I remember on like the first page, I was there, I was ready, I was intrigued, I wanted to know more. That's what I love about his writing. His you know, the time period he writes in, the topics he writes in may not sound interesting, but the way he writes about them makes them so interesting. And this book is 900 pages. Great. And then the last two books the most recent books that I bought are The Devil and the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. I've been wanting to read this book ever since I found out about it. I loved his book, The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, so much. Even though the ending of this one was not what I wanted, let's put it that way, but I really loved the way it was done, the way it was executed, and the way the mystery was plotted, and that's why I'm very curious about this one. And people whose opinion I trust, like Rosie Cockshot, really enjoyed this book, so I'm very happy to have it. Oh, what is this about? It's 1634, and Samuel Pepys, the world's greatest detective, is being transported to Amsterdam to be tried for a crime he may or may not have committed. No sooner is the Saardam, which I'm guessing is the name of the ship, out to sea, then devilry begins to blight the voyage. Strange symbols appear on the sails, livestock are slaughtered, ominous whispers travel throughout the crowded decks, and then comes the first murder. Another historical fiction with a mystery in it, my favorite genre. And then I bought a book that I've never heard of. It's a little troubling to me that I have not seen it on Bookstagram or YouTube pretty much at all. I don't think I've ever seen it because I loved the cover, and I'm sure I would have remembered. And this is 8 Detectives by Alex Pavesi. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, I apologize. Have you heard about this book? Anyway, this is obviously a murder mystery. Anyway, this says, all murder mysteries follow a simple set of rules, and in 1930s, Grant McAllister, a mathematics professor turned author, worked them out, hiding their secrets in a book of crime stories. Then he disappeared. Julia Hart has finally tracked him down. She wants to know what happened to him, but she's about to discover that a good mystery can be murder to solve. The thing that intrigues me the most are the things that other authors have said about this book. Like A.J. Finn said, "When did you last read a genuinely original thriller? The Wait is Over." Then Alex North said, "I genuinely wanted to applaud at the end." Samantha Downing said, "One of the most creative detective mysteries of the year, if not of all time." Just intriguing, right? It's also a double cover, which is always fun. And these are all the books that I bought in recent months. 9 books! This is a lot. Anyway, let me know if you read any of them or heard of them. Let me know your opinions, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.